Welcome back to my channel. In today's video, I'm going to be talking about luxury beauty products that I think are worth it to put on your Christmas list, or these are products that would be great for gifting as well. I just thought this would be a fun option to do preparing for the holiday season. I always struggle buying this time of year, so if you have someone in your life that maybe you want to gift beauty products to, I think that gifting people with luxury beauty products is really special because a lot of people, they don't necessarily try out luxury beauty items, and it's just something really special to add to your collection. And honestly, having those and using those luxury beauty items, they really just boost my confidence and they make me feel more special. It's just a whole experience when you use these products. So I thought this would be a fun video idea just to show you maybe a gifting guide. I just think these are great gift options as well if you are looking to create your own Christmas list, because I always struggle with coming up with a Christmas list this time of year. And, you know, asking for luxury makeup is a really great gift idea for yourself as well, especially if you've been waiting to purchase products or if you've been waiting to see kind of what the best of the best beauty products are. And these are my holy grail items. These are products that I would recommend to absolutely anyone. So I am doing this get ready with me style because I wanted to make sure you could see these products in action, because of course, if you wanted to ask for them for gifts, I think it's important to see how they look on the skin. And then of course, if you're going to gift them to other people, I feel like it's also important to see how they look on the skin as well. But if you want to see all the luxury beauty items that I recommend putting on your Christmas wish list, just keep watching. I'm going to start on the eyes like I always do. So the palettes that I wanted to recommend to put on your Christmas list. Now, I kind of chose between two of each category just because I thought, I know that some of my viewers are in different countries and maybe things are harder to access, or maybe you have oilier skin than I do. I have dry skin. So I wanted to offer options that are good for maybe oilier skin types or drier skin types, or, you know, just for different people. If you prefer things with no shimmer or if you prefer something with a shimmer, I wanted to offer two different types of products for people. So I narrowed it down to two per category for this Christmas wish list. So to start off with eyeshadows, the first palette I want to recommend is the Peau. This doesn't even have a name on the back. This is just the Peau eyeshadow quad, basically. So Peau just recently reformulated their eyeshadow quads, and I really actually prefer this formula. The other formula was really beautiful as well, except it had a little bit more intermittent shimmers to it. So it had that more, it wasn't a glitter, but it did just have more reflection to it. These are pretty much a straight up sheen or matte formula, and they blend so, so beautifully. It definitely has a lighter pigmentation. So they are very, very buildable, which I prefer in an eyeshadow. They're just a gorgeous formula. And they also come with this one shade here that is actually a different formula. This I would describe more as a cream. It almost feels like a putty shadow. It's very, very interesting. And this is what they call their primer. So you kind of just apply it all over the eye and start out with that shade. But this formulation is just beautiful. A typical powder formula that is gorgeous. And then the other eyeshadow palette that I highly recommend is this Surratt eyeshadow palette. So this was curated by me. I created this palette, but they have the Beyond Beige palette, which is absolutely gorgeous. And if you wanted just a palette that was curated by the brand, that's a really great place to start. I actually have had a Beyond Beige palette, but I decluttered it because I ran through two of the shades. So this is my curated palette, and I will go over the shades that I have put in here. This is the shade Chamois, which is basically just like a light beige. This is the shade Griege, which is a beautiful, it's like a neutral, just matte shadow. This one is Cuivre, which is a beautiful, it's like a copper tone. It's definitely a warmer brown shade, but it does have a little bit of a sheen to it. And then this right here is the shade Truff, which is just a deep, warm, dark brown, and it's absolutely gorgeous. This is the perfect neutral palette. Now, the Surratt eyeshadow palette is different than the Peau because, as I mentioned, the Peau is just a typical powder formula, where the Surratt eyeshadows, they're almost this, if you've ever tried it, you know what I mean, but they're almost this super duper creamy powder. So they apply like a powder product would, but they melt into the skin like a cream product does. It's such a beautiful formula. It's very unique. I've never experienced a powder product like this Surratt eyeshadow quad before. It's absolutely gorgeous. Now, I love both of these, and I did already use the Clé de Peau palette in a recent video, so I think I'll use the Surratt palette in today's video. So I'm going to start off using this Sonia G. This is the Blender Pro brush, and I'm just going to take this matte shade, this matte creamy beige shade, and I am going to apply that just all over the lid. So I have a discount code with Surratt. It is the code Lisa15. You can get 15% off your order if you're interested. But I did purchase all these eyeshadows myself, and I purchased this palette myself, but I do have a discount code. Surratt has just recently started sending me more PR, but honestly, you guys just have to try out this formula if you haven't. And I'm going to take this matte brown shade right here, which is the shade Griege. And this is definitely more pigmented than the Clé de Peau eyeshadows. So I'm just going to use a little bit of a lighter hand, but they aren't hard to blend at all because, like I said, they have that really creamy quality. So I'm just going to blend that into the outer corner and then into the crease as well. And I love just how basic palettes like this. They're just what I use most on an everyday basis, and even for special occasions, because I just like everything to be really neutral, and I just think neutral eyeshadows are just always beautiful in person. I'm going to take a little bit of this Cuivre shade on the exact same brush, and I'm just going to put this a little bit lower into that outer corner, and I'm not going to blend it out because I kind of blended it all over the crease and kind of went everywhere. I'm going to be a little bit more precise with this application and not blend it as all over the place. And then again, I'm going to be a bit more precise in that just outer crease. So I'm just going to bring it about halfway across my crease. I'm actually just going to dip back into that Cuivre shade that I just used on the very outside corner. I'm going to take that excess product off. So you can see dipping my product in there and getting that excess product off. And then I'm going to run it across the eyelid just so I get a bit of a color there, but it's not going to be too precise, and I don't want like an intense color there. I just want a little bit of color there. And then I am going to go in with a little bit of this Truff shade at the bottom, and I'm going to apply that directly to my top lash line. So I just think these eyeshadow palettes would make a really great Christmas gift because they're so neutral that anyone could use these sort of palettes. If you're looking for something, this is definitely neutral leaning a little bit warmer, but these products I also feel like would make really good Christmas gifts because they're so easy to blend that I feel like they would flatter absolutely everyone because anyone could use these sort of shades and this sort of formula as well because it's so easy to blend, it's so easy to just use. You basically know what to do with these sort of colors. And they would work for any age. And then, of course, the Clé de Peau would absolutely be beautiful as well. This is just a little bit of a lighter color story. Has a little bit more shimmer to it. And it's so hard to choose favorites. I like to use both of them. So I can't really choose a favorite. But this is just a typical powder formula. This is definitely more lightly pigmented, I want to say. But absolutely gorgeous. And I just feel like they make for really great gifts because they're so neutral that, you know, anyone would love them. Sometimes it's hard to choose makeup for people because you don't want to buy anything too colorful because what if they don't wear colorful makeup? I just feel like this is a really nice go-to. I also feel like this is a nice gift to ask for as well because they're a little bit more pricey, so sometimes it's nice to get gifted these sort of products. I'm going to move on to the lower lash line, and I'm just going to take a pencil brush and I'm going to go back. I'm actually just going to mix this Cuivre shade right here and this gray shade, just go back and forth, and then I'm going to run that across the lower lash line. So I'm just going to go from the outer corner, make sure to connect it to the top outer lash line, and just go on this side too. But overall, I really think anyone would enjoy these palettes. So the Surratt one, I mean, I will say it doesn't look as luxurious as the Clé de Peau palette, but when you test the product out yourself, it is so luxurious in feeling, like just in the formulation and how it looks on the eyes. It is beautiful, so highly recommend these shades. And then you seriously can't go wrong with that Clé de Peau. Like this palette looks gorgeous. It looks luxury. We have that beautiful navy blue and then the gold. It is kind of like hefty packaging. You get a mirror and these beautiful, just the quality of these shadows are so high quality and gorgeous. and just so smooth and buttery and blendable. So you can't go wrong with adding these to your Christmas wish list or gifting these to other people. And as far as mascara goes, I did go ahead and add mascara. I think that gifting mascara is a nice option because we tend to run through mascara very quickly. And some of the mascaras that I recommend for a lash primer, I think it would actually be kind of nice to gift someone a nice little duo. You could even put it in a stocking. Or, you know, if you're just looking for a new mascara combination, I really love the Dior Maximizer 3D Triple Action Lash Primer. So this is just a lash primer. You apply it before you apply your mascara. I really like to use a lash primer. It primes my lashes, it gives me length, and it gives me a little bit more volume, and it just makes the mascara go on even better in my opinion. And then two mascaras I recommend is the YSL Lash Clash Mascara in the shade Brown. If you're looking just for a really great high quality brown mascara, I really, really love how this makes my lashes look. The one downfall is that it slightly smudges. I don't have that problem in the fall and the winter, but in the summertime, I notice that it does a little bit. And then the Gucci mascara is just a classic black mascara. And just this packaging, it does feel very luxe, like it has a weightiness to it. It's that gold and little light pink that is just so modern and classic looking. Absolutely beautiful. So you can't go wrong with any of these. And then I did want to mention, in case you are looking for a shimmer, I just think, you know, gifting someone something that's really neutral is just really easy because pretty much everyone loves a basic neutral eyeshadow palette that's high quality. But if you're looking to maybe add a shimmer as well, I did want to recommend either the Chantecaille Luminescent Eye Shade in the shade Lion, which is a golden copper, or the Chantecaille Mermaid Eye Shade. I grabbed the wrong one, but in the shade Copper as well. So I think these would make great Christmas gifts because they are a little bit more pricey and they're just special eyeshadows. The Chantecaille or Mermaid Eye color is similar, I would say, to like the Surratt, where it is like that powder to cream formula. It's very unique, and I love this because it offers, like, you get really good pigmentation, but it gives you just a beautiful sheen and a beautiful wash of color. It doesn't have any of those intermittent shimmers in it, so it's just a very smooth shimmer, a very smooth sheen. So it's great if you have more mature skin, if you're just someone that likes more subtle makeup like me. This is what I could wear to, like, for every day for work. And then the luminescent eye shades are just beautiful because they have a little bit more of that intermittent shimmer. They're a little bit more intense, so you see that a little bit of that sporadic shimmer, but it's very sophisticated, very, very elegant. It's not a tacky shimmer. It's not a chunky glitter. It's nothing that, you know, those glitters where you can like detect that kind of chunkiness on the eyes. You can't with this. It's still a smooth metallic finish. And it's absolutely beautiful. This is just one of my favorite shadows. This is something I will reach for over the holiday season, because it just enhances a look and makes your look just look even more special and more elegant, especially for like holiday parties or anything like that. Very, very beautiful. Obviously, you could choose a different shade. Lion is just my personal favorite shade. I think these would be little fun stocking stuffers as well, or of course you can make them the main event, or you can even ask for them yourself if you're someone that have just been eyeing these. The Chantecaille Luminescent Eye Shade, it is very, very pricey for a single eyeshadow, so asking for it for a gift is kind of the perfect time. You can try it out, and it's beautiful. I have no regrets about buying this. Now, when it comes to primer, I decided to skip over primer just because I feel like, I don't know, primer's not very special to get as a Christmas present, but obviously if you have a primer that's been on your mind, I do recommend asking for it for Christmas. If I were to mention one, the Sisley, this is the Blur Expert powder. Now, I know that seems weird saying that powder is a primer, but this powder actually works really beautifully as a primer, and I like utilizing this actually during the holiday season because it really perfects your base. If you apply this underneath your makeup, it just makes everything look so blurred and so smooth and so perfected. I don't really have the right brush. I usually use a more dense brush, but you just pick up powder. So you pick up a bit of powder on this brush, tap off the excess, and you just press your brush into like the center of your face right here, where any areas of like where you have the most texture or pores, you just press that powder in, and everything looks so smooth and so blurred over top. It's amazing. That is one powder I'd recommend. And then of course you can use this after your makeup as well, and this makes a really great touch-up powder. So that's kind of the only powder or primer I would recommend. And This is kind of a primer. I use it as like a primer and my highlighter. But this Gucci Illuminator de Beaute, this is the Gucci multi-use drops. I love these, and it's funny because when I first reviewed them, I kind of said they were meh, but I actually really love them, and they're one of my favorite products of all time now. And I think this would be really nice to ask for as a Christmas gift, or again, gifting it to someone, because first of all, that packaging is absolutely beautiful. I would love to get this as a gift. Again, it's so high quality and it feels very luxe, like it has that weight to it. And that bottle is beautiful. Gucci does the most beautiful, just pristine packaging. Like that just looks so sophisticated and lovely. But the product inside is beautiful as well. So what I like to do is give it a good shake. Like, look how much I've used. I'm pretty impressed by that. So I give it a good shake, and then I drop, I don't know, I take like 2 drops on the palm of my hand, and then I just take any sort of brush. This is the BK Beauty 203 brush, and I take a bit of that product, and I like to apply this to the high points of my cheeks. Now I do like this underneath makeup the best, especially if you're going to use a lighter coverage foundation over top. If you're going to use a full coverage foundation, don't apply this underneath your foundation because you won't be able to see this coming through your makeup if you're going over top with a full coverage foundation. But if you go over with something sheer, you can still get that beautiful glow that just comes through the foundation, and it's just so gorgeous. So again, I like to bring it down the middle of my nose, above the brows, and the high points of the cheekbones. And I don't really blend it in too much. Like I kind of blend it into the skin, but I let it just kind of sit there, and then I'll apply my foundation over top. And this just gives the most beautiful, subtle glow. It is very, very natural looking. It just looks like your skin is glowing and your skin has health and luminosity to it, versus it looking like a straight up highlighter. Like there are no intermittent shimmers in there. There are no sparkles or nothing. You can't see that detectable shimmer on the skin, which I do not like. And this is a very nice highlighting product, like a liquid illuminator, because a lot of liquid illuminators, they stay dewy on the skin. And I don't typically like that because I hate when you can feel your highlighter or your hair get stuck in it. This actually dries down, so it makes for a really beautiful priming product as well. If you want to apply this all over the skin, it does offer some beautiful luminosity. Gorgeous underneath makeup. You can also mix it into your foundation. I prefer it just underneath my makeup in specific areas versus applying it all over, just because it does have a bit of a sheen. You will get some emphasizing of texture or pores if you apply it like right here. So I just like to apply it to the high points of my cheeks or high points of my face, but that is totally optional and you can do whatever you want to do. I am going to move on to concealer, and the concealer that I recommend putting on your Christmas list is the Surratt Dewdrop Concealer. Now, I was sent this from Surratt, but I would absolutely 100%, and I will repurchase this when I go through it. This is my holy grail concealer. This is the best concealer I have ever tried. Don't love this packaging. It's not the most luxurious looking, but I promise if you ask for this for Christmas, you will be so happy that you did. It is perfect. It's literally just the perfect concealer. So I like to apply it underneath my eyes here. So again, you can't be super precise with this sponge tip applicator, but you know what? I don't care because this concealer is so good. It has a very thin consistency to it, but it has a really nice coverage. So I would say it's medium, buildable to a fuller coverage, which I really like because my main concern is my dark under eye circles. That is what I guess I don't like about my skin the most. And this just offers great coverage, but it's so thin on the under eyes. It doesn't settle, it doesn't crease, it doesn't cake up, it wears all day long. This is truly the best concealer that I have ever used. It doesn't settle into any of the fine lines, it doesn't emphasize any dryness, it doesn't have any sort of sheen to it either. It just covers those dark under eye circles, wears all day long, and is like ultra crease proof. It is so beautiful. A lot of you guys asked my mom's opinion on this, and my mom loves this concealer as well. So Surratt sent me 2 shades, and I gave one of the shades to my mom for her to test out, and she loves it as well. She said this is really great concealer. It doesn't settle into her lines or wrinkles or anything like that, and it wears all day long for her. She likes this because, so the Chanel Sublimage concealer was her holy grail before this Surratt one. But this Surratt one just offers more coverage and it's a little easier to apply. So she's been really, really enjoying this as well. I just can't recommend this enough. For foundations to put on your Christmas wish list, so I have a few here to mention. One of my favorite foundations when it comes to the fall and winter time, it's just a beautiful all-rounder foundation, is the Chanel Sublimage L'Essence de Teint. I have mine in 2 shades, in the shade B30 and B40. Yes, I like it so much that I bought it in 2 shades. Just because I'm literally right in between those 2 shades, so I just figured, you know what, I'll just buy both of them and then I can mix 1 pump of each. Love this foundation. It has such an elegance to it. This is what I would call like my most sophisticated foundation because it just looks so beautiful. This is also my mom's favorite foundation as well, and she wears it all year round and it wears beautifully. So I love this because I can wear it all day long. I don't personally require touch-ups, but I also have drier skin. But it is a foundation if you do need to touch up. It does touch up very beautifully. This has a light buildable to medium coverage. It smooths over any lines or pores or any texture on your skin. This is one of the most blurring foundations that I have in my collection. And if you haven't been to my channel before, I love a blurring foundation. So I highly recommend either putting this on your Christmas list, or if you wanted to gift someone a foundation, this would make a beautiful gift because, again, it's very elegant packaging. Chanel just does very beautiful packaging. And even though this is a pricey foundation, to me, it is worth the money because I just love how my skin looks every time. And, you know, I don't mind spending money on foundation because when you're one-on-one, when you're in person with people and up close, they're looking directly at your skin. And to me, that's a really important feature that I want to, you know, enhance. So for me, it's worth the money. And I just think you'd be really happy if you put this on your Christmas list because it is beautiful. But if you're someone that, you know, maybe has a little more discoloration, maybe you have more blemishes and you want a fuller coverage, I have 2 other options. So the Clé de Peau, this is the Radiant Cushion Foundation Dewy. This is absolutely gorgeous. And again, the packaging is just very modern and beautiful. That navy blue with the gold trim, so gorgeous. You have this mirror. It's a good quality mirror. And it is a cushion foundation. So it's maybe not the most practical because I don't find cushion foundations super easy to use. They're easy to travel with, but I don't know. It's just a little more challenging than just like pumping out a foundation. How this looks on the skin is beautiful. Like I said, it's a medium buildable to fuller coverage, but because this is a medium, you can also shear this out. You can use just a very fine amount and smooth it all over the skin, and you can actually get a light coverage from this, or you can mix it in with a moisturizer. You can really adapt this foundation to get a sheer coverage, a light coverage, all the way up to a full coverage. So I would also recommend, you know, putting this on your Christmas list if you just want one solid foundation in your collection that will do everything for you. This would be a great option. Now, this does have a more, you know, luminous, it's not, I wouldn't say a dewy finish. For me, it's more of a satin finish, but I think if you have oily skin or very oily skin, this might be a little bit too hydrating for you. But in the winter, this is perfect for me. I can actually wear this in the summer as well. One of my favorite foundations. And again, it has that blurring technology that this Chanel does. And then the last foundation I wanted to mention is also from Clé de Peau, and it is the Radiant Cream Foundation. So I would say these have very similar coverage levels. So again, if you're looking for that adaptability, if you want something that can be worn very sheerly, you can really sheer this product out, or you can build it up to that fuller coverage. This would be a great, great product as well. And I really love this. Again, it's a little easier to use because it's that squeezy tube. And I think there's a little bit more color offerings in this. So I did want to recommend this because they don't have that many colors in this cushion foundation. But I would say how they look on the skin is very similar. The Radiant Cream Foundation isn't as glowy, I would say, but they both have the same longevity. They both have that blurring technology on the skin. They just make the skin look so smooth and gorgeous. I love Clé de Peau and Chanel foundations. They're both really beautiful. But if you're looking for something with that more adaptability that you can use in different ways, you can sheer it out with a moisturizer. You can build it up to a fuller coverage. You can, you know, mix in your Chantecaille Anti-Aging Face Tint, which is that bronzing base. This is actually, I love to mix these together because this shade's a little bit too light for me, and that will just sheer this out a little bit as well. So you can just utilize it in so many different ways. So I love that. I feel like I actually haven't used this Clé de Peau Radiant Cream Foundation in such a long time on my channel, so I'm going to use it today. I wear the shade 030 and 030 in the cushion. Now the cushion foundation runs quite a lot darker, so I am going to have to mix a little bit of this Chantecaille Anti-Aging Face Tint into this foundation. So I'm going to take this Clé de Peau foundation, give it a good shake. And yes, I do like to apply concealer before foundation. I just like how it looks. Now, literally with this foundation, do you see that amount I have on my hand? It's just a tiny, it's less than a pea-sized amount. You just need the tiniest bit. And then with the Chantecaille Anti-Aging Face Tint, this foundation is quite a bit lighter than me, so I'm going to take, I don't know, maybe a little bit more. I'm going to take probably about the same amount of product as the Anti-Aging Face Tint, that bronze base. I'm just going to mix these both together. Shiseido Kabuki brush, and I'm going to apply that onto the skin. If you have been eyeing a foundation this year and you've heard people talk about it, I would totally recommend putting that on your Christmas list. Or if you're looking for some good ideas to gift to people, or even some ideas for yourself, any one of these foundations are things that I would highly recommend. And I know sometimes people feel guilty spending money on themselves, these luxury items, so sometimes it's nice to ask for these items as gifts. And literally you can't go wrong, and you will never go back once you've tried these products. Just the way they make your skin look is unbeatable. So I'm just applying this with this foundation brush in a really, so I'm really spreading it out into a really thin layer so that I want a light coverage out of this. So I am really shearing it out. And I do like to take a damp beauty blender sponge just with no product and run over everything just to make sure there's no brush strokes and that everything is evenly blended out onto the skin. I just love how this foundation looks. It gives me nice coverage, but it's definitely light coverage. Like I can still see freckles showing through it. I can still see little, I don't know, marks. So it's really beautiful. It's really fresh looking, but it blurs the skin. Like my skin looks so smooth and refined. But you can also still see that Gucci highlighter. You can still see it through. So it's very, you know, lightly glowing through the foundation. But as another option, you can always go over top. Just maybe take another little dot of product, put it onto your fingertips, just if you want to enhance the glow even more, and just apply it right to the very high points of the cheekbone. And the bronzer I recommend putting on your Christmas wish list is this Hermes. This is the Healthy Glow Mineral Powder in the shade 02 Atlas. Now that's my shade, of course. If you're a different skin tone than me, you might ask for a different shade, but I would check them out. I love this formula so much, and it's funny because when I first reviewed it, I think I said it wasn't worth the money, but now I can't stop using this bronzer. It is so beautiful, and I really like it because it has this, it's almost like hard pressed, so when you apply your brush into this bronzer, you're not going to get a lot of powder kick up, so I like that it's not very pigmented. I like that it's a very buildable formula. Like when I swatch it, you almost can't even see it on my hand because it's just so buildable. And I really like that because it's going to give me a subtle bronze, so it's not going to be too intense right away. Sometimes with bronzers, if they run quite a bit deeper than your skin tone, they're just going to look really intense and it's going to contrast with your face, and then it's just harder to make those products look natural. But this bronzer, I just love how the formula runs a little bit lighter. Like you can see, it's just a tiny bit deeper than my chest, so it works perfectly. But not only the color, this formula is just so beautiful because it is so buildable. It's such a smooth consistency as well, so it is very finely milled. It applies onto the skin like a dream, and I just think if you try out this formula and, you know, ask for it as a gift, it just makes for such a special gift because, again, the packaging is very luxurious and classy. This would be great to gift to someone as well. If you know their skin tone, then this would be a great product to give, and I feel like, you know, you just feel special with this product as well. That's what I love about luxury makeup. It can really enhance your experience with applying makeup, and it can just make you feel more luxurious and special. So I'm taking this Sonia G. This is the Niji Pro. I picked this up during the Beautylish sale, and I really like it. So I like to pick up that bronzer, tap off that excess product on the back of my hand, and then I like to stir it at the forehead. And you can see I'm pressing this onto the skin. I'm not buffing or sweeping. Press it onto the skin and you won't disturb any product underneath. And then I move to the cheekbones just a little bit, and I like to go across the nose as well. And then sometimes I'll put a bit on my chin. What a beautiful bronzer, honestly. Like, it just looks so seamless into my skin. Like, you can't detect where I've applied bronzer. It just gives me a healthy glow to my skin, which I love because I don't like those bronzers where you can detect that you've added something to your skin. This is just so seamless and so smooth looking. This is that type of blurring bronzer. This does have an ever so soft sheen to it, but I would say it's mostly matte. So if you're looking for a great mostly matte bronzer, really recommend that. Another special bronzer that I love is this Sisley Sun Glow Bronzing Gel to Powder. So this is a Baked Gelée powder. So with this sort of brush, actually this would be a great brush to use because it is a more dense brush. You need a dense brush to pick up these gel powders. But this one is really beautiful if you're looking for, very similar, it's that warm tone. This one has a little bit more pigmentation, but this Sisley bronzer has a beautiful glow to it. There's no like intermittent shimmers, you can't detect shimmer on the skin, but this offers a beautiful sheen. But the sheen it's so skin-like, it just looks like your skin. So this is a product I really like to use, I would say mostly in the summertime because it is quite a warm bronzer, but this is such a special formula, how it melts into the skin. When you apply it, it again applies like a powder, but it melts into the skin like a cream. So this is another formula that I would recommend putting on your Christmas wish list if you're looking for a new bronzer, if you like something with a bit more glow than that Hermes. I am going to do the lips before I do the cheeks just because I like to gauge the lip. I feel like that dictates how much blush to add. So for lips, honestly, I'm just loving these YSL candy glazes so much that I really recommend you put them on your Christmas wish list because honestly, it's the packaging that really does it for me. This is so luxurious. It makes you feel special. And when you pull it out of your bag, it's just the experience in applying this, honestly, really does make the difference for me. And I love how these feel. So they start off kind of like hard balms, like almost like a lip balm, but they really are melty. Like they melt onto your lips and they're just so lovely to apply. So truly, one of those products that are worth the hype for me. Yes, it gets a little bit messy around the edges because again, they're so melty and they melt on contact with your lips or, you know, if it's really hot out. But wow, these are so comfortable. A little bit thicker than this Too Faced lip gloss that I really love, but it's not a bad thickness. It just has some tact to the lips. So it makes it feel like it adheres to the lips a little bit better. And if you know, you're looking for another special lip gloss, I really love this Clé de Peau. This is the Radiant Lip Gloss. I think this would make a great stocking stuffer gift as well. And, you know, it's just something special. I feel like maybe if you're just starting out in the luxury realm and some other products are a little bit, you know, too pricey, starting out with a luxury lip gloss is a great place to start. And it's a great, you know, it's something special to gift to someone, especially if they don't have lots of luxury beauty items as well, because it's just something to add to their collection that just, you know, enhances their collection. So this is the Clé de Peau Radiant Lip Gloss in the shade 3 Charm. I'll just add more gloss to this look, because why not? I really love this shade. It's like a beautiful dusky rose, kind of like My Lips But Better shade. These are just some special little luxury beauty items that are really nice to add to anyone's Christmas list. So if you wanted something just special to add to your Christmas list or to gift to someone else, those are really great options. And for the cheeks, I'm sure you know what blush I'm going to mention, but I just can't recommend these Valentino Eye to Cheek blushes. So they're the dual use blush and shadows. I can't recommend them enough. If you're gifting to someone else, I do recommend the shade 9, which is the shade Poudre, I believe, because it's very neutral. So you can pair this with anything. And I think if you're gifting to someone else, just choosing a very neutral middle-of-the-road blush is probably the safest bet because you don't know if they're into punchy colors, or maybe you do. But this formulation would just be really beautiful to gift to someone as well. The packaging is really beautiful. Now, it's not the most luxurious feeling. It feels like plastic, so it doesn't feel as luxe as some of the other items I've mentioned. But it is pretty to look at besides that plastic packaging. And the formulation inside is truly unique and beautiful. It has this creamy quality to it. It reminds me of the Surratt eyeshadows, like I mentioned, that powder to cream formula. I'm kind of running out of room here, but just absolutely gorgeous. So they do have quite a bit of pigmentation to them. So I just like to be careful when I apply. And there's an ever so soft sheen, but again, there's no shimmer particles, no glitter. I think this would just be really beautiful to add to anyone's collection. So if you're someone that hasn't tried this out, this is also something I'd recommend adding to your Christmas wish list. My favorite shade is the shade number 2, which is called Very Rose. You can see it's quite a punchy color, so this might be a little risky to gift to someone because what if they're not into makeup and this scares them to use and they don't watch YouTube and they don't know how to use it just to get that light color payoff? But this would be beautiful to ask as a gift for yourself because of course you watch YouTube and you know how to apply these sort of products. And I just think you can't go wrong because this truly just makes your complexion look even healthier and even better. My mom got this shade as well and it looks beautiful on her, and my sister just bought this as well and it looks beautiful on her, and we all have different skin tones, so it works for a variety of different skin tones, which I absolutely love. However, if you're someone where maybe that pigmentation is a little bit scarier to you, or you don't like anything with a sheen at all, these Gucci blushes, like how beautiful would this be to get as a gift? This packaging that Gucci has is stellar. Gucci packaging is just, I'm sorry, it's beautiful and it feels luxurious too. It has that weightiness to it. Gorgeous, gorgeous. So I love the shade. This is True Pink 07. This would be beautiful because this is kind of that hyped color right now. So I feel like this would be a great gift for anyone if they, I don't know, if they're into social media, then they might have seen that this is a really popular color right now. And if you apply just a little bit of color, it just, again, enhances your complexion and makes you look really healthy and fresh. And this is the shade Bright Coral, which I also love. I have the shade, I don't know where it is. It's called Rosy Beige, which is probably my favorite shade. Very similar to the shade Cuivre from Valentino. It's that very neutral color, but it's a bit more pink and a little bit deeper, but it is more of a matte finish, so you're not going to get any of those shimmer particles at all. It's not going to give you a sheen. It's mostly matte. So I feel like matte can be a little bit safer for most people, because what if they don't like a shimmer? So if you're gifting it to someone, maybe going with the Gucci is the way to go. But if you're asking for a gift for yourself, really recommend the Valentino blushes, or, you know, the Gucci as well. They're probably my second favorite. And just this packaging is so luxurious and beautiful. So I think this is just really special to ask for as a gift. I found the Gucci Rosy Beige, so this is probably my favorite one. You know what? I haven't used the Gucci Rosy Beige in a while, so I like to just dip in this twice. Again, tap off that excess. And then I'm just going to press that into the skin. So again, pressing, I'm not buffing or moving. And I'm using a Sonia G Cheek Pro brush and just getting it in that specific area. I feel like this color is going to go well with the lip color that I chose as well. Just a really pretty neutral color. If you're looking for something that's going to go with everything, this Rosy Beige is a perfect option. I can't help myself. I'm going to show you what this looks like with the pop of this Valentino. So I like to just take literally one dab in here, tap off that excess. And then for this, just for a pop of color, just applying it, you know, over that same area. You might even want to go a little bit more on the apples of your cheeks. I just think this is the prettiest blush of color, and I used to really hate bright colored blushes, so I'm shocked that I like this, but this is literally my favorite blush of all time, and I've gotten my whole family to buy it as well, so love this. I just think it is so beautiful. So for powder, this might be a really obvious choice as well. A powder that I recommend putting on your Christmas list or even gifting to other people is this Depo Refining Pressed Powder. It's basically just a translucent powder, but it does the best out of all the powders. It does the best job of refining the skin and making everything look perfectly blurred and filtered. You look like you have an Instagram filter on when you put this powder. So I like to just use a very precise small brush. This is a Wayne Goss O2 brush. I think this discontinued, but I need to find another brush. But anyways, just a small brush like this and taking a little bit of powder. And I like to just apply it in any areas where there's pores or maybe you just want a little bit of smoothing. I like to apply it to the middle of the chin, middle of the forehead, and usually the sides of my nose. Sometimes I'll apply it to the jawline just because no one likes a shiny jawline, but usually I just don't even do that step. But this is just so beautiful. I feel like people would be so happy that you gifted this to them. Or again, it's a present that you'd really enjoy yourself because of the effect it gives on the skin. It is so perfect. It doesn't add any coverage onto the skin, so it literally just blurs and filters the skin without it changing the foundation at all. That's what I dislike about some powders, is how they change the coverage or the color of your foundation, and this doesn't do that. It just adds that translucent veil of filtering and perfection. And that is everything for this video. I hope you guys enjoyed seeing me applying the products as well. I just feel like that's helpful if you maybe are choosing to gift to someone, how they look on the skin. And also if you wanted a gift for yourself, you might want to see how they look on the skin. So I just felt that was important. Hope you guys really enjoyed this video. Please let me know down below if you have any gifting ideas as well. Some products that you feel like would be a great option to put on anyone's Christmas list, or any products that you're asking for Christmas. I always love hearing what people are asking for Christmas, so I'd love to hear from you. Now, I know not everyone celebrates Christmas, but I just thought this would be a fun video idea, and obviously I wish everyone just the happiest of holidays. So that is it for today's video. I hope you guys enjoyed this video. Don't forget to subscribe to my channel if you haven't already. Like this video if you like it, and I'll see you in my next video.